Forget the two-point conversion. Forget the other rules changes that penalize place kickers. The big news in pro football this week was the latest chapter in Jerry versus Jimmy, Jones versus Johnson. Jerry toasts Jimmy, Jimmy snubs Jerry, Jerry fires Jimmy or threatens to, and Jimmy sulks. Mike LUPICA, is this love? Is this the marriage of true minds?
I don't know if it's the marriage or if they're really, or true hearts, by the way. But I ran into Jerry Jones the night before the Super Bowl, and he said, let me ask you a question. You think Jimmy Johnson's an intelligent man? I said, yeah, sure I do. And he said, why would an intelligent man want to walk away from the Dallas Cowboys? And I said, that's not the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, do I think he's going to? And the answer is yes, because, you know, the yin-yang of this is...
Did Jerry mention Barry Switzer at that point?
No, he didn't, or no other former Oklahoma coaches. Listen, they each want what the other has. Jerry really does think that he could, that this team is so wonderful he could coach it. And Jimmy looks at Jerry and he says, I want a little of that piece of pie. This will never be resolved, but I do think they're going to have one more year together.
When did he become Al Davis? When did Jerry Jones, in his mind, become Al Davis?
I think
he's done this whole thing himself.
When they handed him the trophy. Now, whether you think it's right or not...
5 years he's been in the league. He's suddenly on the competition committee, Jerry Jones. I mean, that's...
He made the call on Fox.
Unlike Davis,
that's one of the new Olympic records, 5 years to the competition
I just find it amazing that some guys, like Jerry Jones, feel the need to insert themselves in every single decision that's being made. That'll be the
You never worked for anybody like that?
No, but guys who've won consistently, who have no small egos, like Eddie DeBartolo and Jack Kent Cooke, don't do that necessarily.
But nobody on this panel knew Jerry Jones as well as Jimmy Johnson did before they were. Right. Why did they ever get together in the first place?
That's a misconception.
Oh, I didn't say they liked each other. I said they knew each other.
They weren't even close.
They weren't close. Jimmy will tell you that when they were at Arkansas, he was his roommate for like 30 nights in 3 or 4 years. I mean, you don't get to really know.
Apparently, it was alphabetical reasons. That's why they were together.
That's why he hired Johnson. Alphabetical reasons.
Jerry's idea is that Jimmy's going to walk away from the Dallas Cowboys. Jimmy doesn't want to walk away from the Dallas Cowboys. He wants to walk away from Jerry Jones.
Hey, but he can't win a third straight Super Bowl unless he stays.
That's all right. I don't think that he's concerned with that.
No, I think 1 and 2, he knows that puts him into a very special club, especially winning 2 back-to-back, which only a handful of guys have done. Listen, you've got 2 guys in Dallas, both of whom want to say, I did this. This, you know, this team is mine.
Both of whom have said it.
No, but what I'm saying is they're never going to resolve this. And, you know, we've seen it on a smaller scale in sports before. This relationship is doomed, but I do believe that they can get 1 more year out of it.
Well, also, you know, everybody thinks it's economics with money's involved. This one is not economics, it's egonomics.
What was it like, you know, with Finley in the Oakland days? Finley had the same thing with managers, with players, like Emmitt Smith feels towards Jerry Jones.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite as violent as this, really, or as venomous.
But the egos were massive.
Yeah, but there's Jerry and Jimmy just don't
But in a certain sense, what could be better for Jimmy Johnson than to have this feud go so all the players are on his side, as they are now? I mean,
exactly.
They've all come out on his side. I mean, he'd like to start the season tomorrow.
But what could be worse for the Cowboys if Jimmy does leave?
Well, but Dave, the one place I'll disagree with you is the fact that money is. I think money. You cannot dismiss money as an issue.
It's a small factor in this, but the basic problem is the egos involved.
Because the rumors that we heard about what Jacksonville was prepared to offer Jimmy Johnson, and one of those Iacocca type Chrysler deals is not insignificant to Jimmy. Jimmy's position is he's proved everything he has to prove as a coach. He's won in college, he's won in the pros, and I do think he'd like to take pick something off the money tree now.
I think eventually he would love to go back to the University of Miami in the sense of coaching the Miami Dolphins when Don Shula decides to retire, and whenever that may be.
He can have any job he wants.
Exactly.
Right now, he can have any job he wants.
He'll be president of the university. I'm so glad that he
the University of the Dolphins.
I'm glad to hear there's something in sports that's not powered entirely by greed. Next, we'll be back with baseball. Can it be exciting without pennant races?